Today, the discussion around One Africa remains a prevalent topic. Notably, forward-thinking African leaders like Gaddafi, Kwame Nkrumah, and others faced persistent opposition from the West throughout history. The Western perspective often portrayed them as threats, leading to various measures aimed at removing them from power, including military coups, civil unrest, and even outright assassination. Regrettably, when these leaders were ousted, their countries often descended into chaos and disarray. Until recent years, the circumstances of Gaddafi's assassination were shrouded in mystery, fueling various speculations. While initial beliefs suggested his removal was aimed at eliminating a dictator, subsequent revelations hinted at an entirely different narrative. These revelations suggest that the world's superpowers may have harbored ulterior motives, driven by their unyielding desire to exert influence over African nations. One perspective posits that Gaddafi's assassination could have directly resulted from his bold pan-Africanist ideology, advocating for an independent gold-backed currency for Africa. Speculation surrounds this audacious plan, as it had the potential to challenge the hegemony of global financial systems, compelling powerful entities like NATO to take decisive action. Interestingly, a video featuring President Museveni surfaced and circulated widely on the internet. In the video, Museveni recounted how NATO allegedly thwarted a group of African delegates, composed of presidents and the chairman of the African Union, from reaching Gaddafi, eventually instructing them to return. The African Union had given this committee a mandate to find a solution to the Libyan problem. These dignitaries, on an African mission over African soil, boarded a plane destined for Libya to mediate. However, NATO ordered them to turn back. Why did NATO intervene in this manner? President Yoweri Museveni suggested that NATO might have played a role in the killing of Gaddafi. Back in 1972, Gaddafi supported Idi Amin, citing a shared Muslim faith. Despite Amin's religious affiliation, Gaddafi's endorsement of him led to confrontations. Museveni revealed that he fought against Gaddafi in 1972 and again in 1979 when he intervened on behalf of Idi Amin. Eventually, they reconciled with Gaddafi, acknowledging that they occasionally agreed with his ideas while at other times they did not. NATO issued a directive to not just one but 6 African leaders, including the past president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, and the former Prime Minister of Uganda, John Patrick Amama Mbabazi, instructing them to return to their home continent. However, these leaders chose not to heed this command, and as a result, Gaddafi was killed. The repercussions of this event extended beyond Libya alone. It spilled over into Mali and even reached Chad. The entire region, including Egypt, found itself in turmoil. Uganda's president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, garnered significant attention on social media due to that speech. He went deep into the actions taken by NATO and Western powers on the continent. Gaddafi's murder or brutal assassination has been a long-standing topic of discussion within African and Black American circles. It has always carried an air of mystery, especially because Libya was one of the nations that showed great promise. However, considering the trajectory of its development as an African country, it was on an upward path irrespective of the Western endorsement. In 2011, as the Gaddafi regime faced NATO's airstrikes on Libya, it conducted a covert lobbying campaign to halt these operations. They were deeply concerned that Western powers were gearing up for a full-scale invasion, which they believed might occur either in late September or October. Classified documents uncovered in Tripoli reveal the desperate measures taken by the Libyan government in its final months to shape US and global public opinion. Their efforts included reaching out to influential figures worldwide, including US President Barack Obama. The regime actively pursued Democratic Congressman Denis Kucinich, a prominent figure known for his opposition to NATO's military actions in Libya and the Iraq War, attempting to persuade him to embark on an impromptu peace mission to Tripoli. Notably, the Libyan government extended an offer to cover all expenses related to Kucinich's visit, including travel and accommodation. On June 22, Soufiane Omish, a US-based lobbyist working on behalf of the regime, addressed a letter to Libya's Prime Minister al-Baghdadi Ali al-Mahmoudi. The letter outlined Kucinich's concerns about his personal safety in Tripoli expressing his preference for meetings with regime officials outside Libya. The proposed trip aimed to facilitate meetings between Kucinich and senior Libyan officials, including Gaddafi. However, the plan never came to fruition, as Kucinich ultimately chose to visit Syria instead. While Kucinich acknowledged the invitation and his direct discussions with the Libyan prime minister, he declined due to security apprehensions. He clarified that he had received calls from Libya, including from the prime minister, who had taken note of Kucinich's efforts to propose a peace resolution. Kucinich emphasized his role as a member of Congress involved in the issue, but without authorization to negotiate on behalf of the U.S. administration. He revealed that he had engaged in a one-hour telephone conversation with the prime minister and confirmed that Soufiane Omish had been in touch as an intermediary for and supporter of the Libyan regime. On June 23, the prime minister, who later fled to Tunisia, composed a surprisingly deferential letter addressed to President Obama. In this letter, he politely expressed concerns over the U.S.'s unprecedented decision to seize the Libyan regime's assets as a gesture to appease the rebels. He also corresponded with leading members of the U.S. Congress, taking issue with Republican John Boehner's characterization of a Gaddafi letter as incoherent. During this time, a city still embroiled in a power struggle between rebel fighters and remnants of Gaddafi's security forces unveiled these documents. The clashes primarily occurred in the north of Tripoli, centered around multi-story apartment blocks where some loyalists had made their last stand. Simultaneously, rebel forces were tightening their grip on pro-Gaddafi strongholds such as Sirte and Saba. The opposition National Transitional Council was consolidating its control, with Ali Tarhouni, its finance minister, announcing the immediate relocation of the cabinet from Benghazi to Tripoli. A significant diplomatic achievement was realized as a Security Council committee agreed to release $1.5 billion in frozen Libyan funds. These funds were earmarked for humanitarian aid, essential services in Libyan cities, and overdue salaries for civil servants, police, and soldiers. However, this decision to unblock the funds was reached following negotiations between the U.S. and South Africa, which had initially opposed the move. New revelations about the 42-year Gaddafi regime emerged amid the strengthening of the National Transitional Council. Mustafa Abdul Jalil, the NTC leader, disclosed that his forces had uncovered substantial stockpiles of food, medicine, and fuel that had been clandestinely amassed by the regime. It was reported that the hidden provisions included enough food to sustain a city twice the size of Tripoli and sufficient medicine to meet the country's needs for a year. Gaddafi's ideologies, despite occasional clashes with other African leaders, resonated with many. His vision for Africa found agreement among a majority of African leaders, even if some didn't fully grasp its significance at the time. He seemed like a forward thinker, and his ideas may have been ahead of their time. Now the questions that remain is if Gaddafi's death is justifiable on all grounds, and if Libya would ever recover its lost potential. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the new Tourist channel. Turn on notifications too so you get notified whenever we upload videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video.